I tell you, there's a tranquility in Carneros where Etude is located. We are off the beaten path. We're not on the main route going up Highway 29 in Napa Valley. It's very pastoral. Tony Soter was the original founder for Etude. It was founded in 1982. Etude is the French word to study. And it really was a study of Pinot Noir as the early ambition. There's a real ethos at Etude that really starts with the land and the craftsmanship of wines that come from that particular piece of land.
Etude starts with the philosophy of being wine growers, and really for us it starts in the vineyard. By doing things well in the vineyard early in the season, it really makes our job here at the winery a lot easier.
I've worked with a number of beautiful properties and vineyards throughout my career, but when I walked for the first time across Grace Benoit Ranch, I knew it was a special place. The geology out at Grace Benoit Ranch is quite unique in the Carneros region, and that's probably most because of the seismic activity and the volcanic soils there.
There's about 1,250 acres of land out here on this site, and about 525 is planted to grapes. Mostly Pinot, because it's an excellent site for Pinot growing. There are 3 significant vineyards in the Grace Benoit Ranch: the Templar, the Deer Camp, and Heirloom. The Deer Camp vineyard is unique in that it has a different soil type. If you dug down, you would see about 80% of cobbles and rocks and just about 20% soil. So the vines are growing on very minimal soil, which makes them a little bit smaller vines, a little more concentrated fruit. Templar, they single some of that fruit out to bottle separately, and then some of that fruit going to the Carneros as part of the larger blend.
The heirloom wine has been part of the portfolio in Etude since the mid-90s, and it was a collection of vineyards that really were growing these heritage or heirloom Pinot Noir selections. When we planted the Grace Benoit Ranch in 2001, it allowed us the opportunity to take these selections and plant them on our own exclusive vineyard.
The heirloom piece is not only site special, but also plant material special. It's not commercially available.
It's difficult to know their pure heritage, but we do know that there's a lineage or a pedigree that goes back from the earliest times of Pinot Noir. People say I'm a hands-on winemaker. That's the only way I really know how to do it. You can't really phone it in. The only way to really understand the wine you're making is to be a part of it. Understanding the vines growing throughout the season, understanding how the taste of the grape evolves on the vine, and then getting your hands in the grape, dirty in the winery. It's a visceral experience, and you have to be a part of it to be able to understand it. Harvest is always a dynamic time.
We're constantly looking at the weather because that does affect our picking decision. We come out on a daily basis at harvest, tasting the grapes as we walk. Here's a cluster with what we call hens and chicks on it, which means small and large berries. And we like to see that combo. The small berries have a nice concentration to them. So do the large ones, but these are really fabulous in their flavor. And they don't tend to have seeds in them.
White grapes or red grapes have a very similar characteristic when they're ready to pick. They taste good, they're yummy. They have a vibrancy of acidity, but also that creamy texture of tannin that will translate into a nice kind of balanced wine.
Night harvesting is really important to us. It ensures that we have uncompromised fruit coming in. It minimizes the need for us to chill the fruit down once it's processed. It keeps the integrity of the fruit and lessens our carbon footprint to use less energy as well.
The grapes are delivered early in the morning when they're still nice and cool. They're sorted, and we're able to place them directly into the fermenters without the use of any pumps, very gently. It keeps the integrity of the grapes very intact and the quality high. And then we go through a period of a cold maceration. It helps bring out color and body and flavor in a sugar content rather than an alcohol content. That's a very good place to start with Pinot Noir. When we're monitoring the peak of Pinot Noir fermentation, that's a very deliberate and a very short period of time that we need to make sure that we're watching it closely. But if we're not there to give it a punch down when it needs it, to monitor its temperature, we could sleep past it and miss an opportunity to extract the best wine we can. It sits in the barrel for the entire life of the wine. It'll be in those barrels for 12 months before we take it out. The white wines, the Pinot Gris and Chardonnay, we pick them at night. They arrive at the winery very cold. And then we place them directly into the press without any crushing, without any de-stemming. And then we very gently press the juice out. That allows us to have full body, but without the bitterness or the tannin from the skins being too apparent.
These are all French oak barrels here. It's a mix of new and old. We like a small percentage of new oak in the blend.
You know, sustainability is very important here at Etude, not only in the vineyard, but here at the winery as well. I like to say sustainability with a big S. One of the examples of that is the solar power that we have here that helps operate our equipment and our machinery and actually feeds the grid when we're not using electricity. I've been a student of Pinot Noir for almost 25 years now. When I received the phone call in 2005 to come up here and sort of take the torch from Tony Soter, it was an amazing day in my career and a real gratification for everything I had done before that.
It's really nice to work with a winemaker who has a lot of vineyard experience and understands the dynamics of the vineyard. He knows Pinot inside and out.
One of the reasons I get up in the morning and come to work is working with Francie Dwyer. We have a wonderful partnership. Without that direct contact with the vineyard, we couldn't really achieve what we're after. Rob Fisher is a real great partner. We do have this very simpatico rapport about understanding of not only the wines that we're making, but the wines that we like to achieve as well.
Our winemaking team is very strong. We really work in synergy. Francie kind of overseeing things in the vineyard, and John and I seeing things out here at the winery, working together and having that common knowledge of what we're trying to achieve.
The Carneros Estate Pinot Noir is entirely grown on the Grace Benoit Ranch, which brings this depth of fruit, a structure of tannin, and a finesse that is really unique to that particular piece of land. The Carneros Chardonnay is 100% off of the Grace Benoit Ranch, and it is a wine that is really about the fruit and the purity and beauty of Chardonnay. The Pinot Gris is our homage to Alsace, you might say. It's a wine that has richness and a wonderful aroma, which is oftentimes difficult to achieve in Pinot Gris. The Napa Cab is Napa Cab. It's beautiful. It's from the best vineyards in the valley. It has this benchland finesse of tannin and structure. The Heirloom Pinot Noir is a very special wine that's produced from vines that have been selected and passed on from generation to have pedigree and heritage. The Lyric Pinot Noir is the very first venture into another price category for Etude in the 30-year history. It's exclusively from Santa Barbara Vineyards that we own, the North Canyon Vineyard in the Santa Maria Valley, as well as Fiddlesticks Vineyard, a fantastic vineyard in the Santa Rita Hills. I'd like people to really take home the sense that Etude is about that sense of wine growing, that we spend a lot of time in the vineyard crafting and growing grapes so that we can bring those grapes into a winery and very gently bring out the best in them. Everything we do is from our heart and our hands, very slow and very deliberate.